Hi, folks. John Hecker here again, the pro at Brookley Country Club in Rochester, New York. Today we're going to talk about launching your driver high with low spin so you can get the maximum distance out of that club. Now, I've got a couple golfers here. On the left is Rory McIlroy. On the right is Louis Oosthuizen, both great drivers of the ball. McIlroy's an extremely long hitter. Sometimes they'll hit 350-yard drives, and Oosthuizen hits it really straight and over 300 yards. So these are guys that you want to copy and try to figure out what they're doing. Now, have you ever had a guy in your group where you feel like you're swinging about the same as he is, and he's hitting it 30 or 40 yards past you? Well, I'm going to show you why that happens. Now, I've got highlighted around their heads the angle of their head as well as the angle of their shaft, and that's the first thing to understand. Is we're going to try, as they swing here, we're going to try to launch the ball high up in the air. And so you'll see that Oosthuizen does some things to create that. Number one, you'll start to see his head move back to the right, which that helps you launch the ball up in the air. Certainly the ball forward in his stance will help with that. And then watch his left foot. See, his left foot's not even on the ground at this point. That means a lot of his weight is still back behind the ball. So he's really working hard to swing up on the ball. So if you're swinging up on the ball, and you can take some loft off the club, which I'm going to show you right here that he does. You can see at impact that his shaft is well forward of where it started. So he's taking loft off the club. So he's de-lofting the club through the shot while swinging up on the ball. That lowers your swing, your spin loft. If you can take your spin loft off your shot, your ball is going to fly with less spin. And with a driver, there's a couple huge advantages to that. Number one is the ball is actually going to go straighter. So if your ball goes straighter because it has less spin, you're going to hit more shots in the middle of the fairway. I remember watching Hideki Matsuyama play at the Honda Classic, and I'd stand behind him, and he'd hit these drives that looked to me like they were going to hook in the left rough, and then we'd get out there to his ball, and it would just be on the left side of the fairway. And after watching that 3 or 4 times, you started to say, hey, something's happening out there that's different. It's like the curve of the ball is being limited because there's so little spin. So a high launch, low spin driver goes straighter. And the nice part about the low spin is it has a lower angle, descending angle. So it's actually going to hit the ground and run. So you'll see that that's kind of what he's doing here. He's swinging up, taking loft off the blade. And then when his ball hits the ground, it's going to take off. Now, McIlroy does a little bit of the same thing. He starts with his shaft a little further forward, and his head doesn't move back till the very end. But you can get the idea that he has some weight on his back foot. You can see his kind of right foot sort of spins out of the way, and it almost looks like his grip is going straight up into the air. So he's swinging up on the ball. And again, you can see his grip is well in front of where it started. So he's de-lofting the club some. So you want to de-loft the club while you're swinging up. And you can do that by kind of feeling like the handle is pulling up in front of the ball. And it's going to take that spin off the drive, get your ball to launch high, and get you that extra 30 yards and catch up with that other guy in your group. So give that a shot out on the course. I'm sure it'll help you, and we'll look forward to hearing from you soon.